Welcome back to A Drop of Happy, where we focus on carefree, stress well, light and lively living while reviewing and discussing all things entertainment and wellness, health and wellness, stress management, all that good stuff. And guess what? I feel like I need to retreat to my happy place. Y'all know how I feel about the arts, reading, books, movies, theater, visual arts, all of it. It's a very important fabric of our lives. That access to imagination is very important, whether you access it through um, engaging in the arts or creating art yourself or what have you. It's super important thing. Um, and with that being said, this is a really good time for us to retreat to our happy place because, all right, Thanksgiving is coming, whatever. But it's Christmas season. And you know what comes with Christmas season? Holiday rom-coms. And I am a romance in all things. Maybe not in my personal life, but in books and movies and whatever, I love the romance genre because it's usually a happy ending. Because I'm not trying to cry. Although a cathartic experience might be good right now, might not be such a bad thing. But we're going into our happy place, and it is that time of year where holiday movies abound, and I am here for it. Netflix, all of the streaming, Netflix, Prime, you know, Hallmark, Lifetime. Listen, you you could watch holiday rom coms all day, all day, all week, probably up until Christmas and beyond. Actually, and I've kind of watched them before because they're just there. Hello. Netflix has so many that I don't even know where to begin. But my first watch is that was a drum roll. That's kind of whack. Meet Me Next Christmas. And I really enjoyed it more than I kind of expected. So Meet Me Next Christmas stars Christina Milian, Devale Ellis, Kofi Siriboe. I hope I said that right. Um, Kalen Allen, who used to be on, we met him through the Ellen show. Well, I met him through the Ellen show. But he was a social media person, and then Ellen picked him up. Anyway, and then the Pentatonix. I love Pentatonix. I especially love their Christmas albums. So that was a treat. Um, and you had me at Pentatonix because I love them. So Christina Milian, she's like the queen of these little rom-com movies. And I really always try to catch her when she's in them because I just think she's cute and adorable. And she seems like a really nice person. Clearly don't know her personally. I did watch I watched her in Resort to Love. I also watched her in Falling in Love. Um, and both I thought were super cute and enjoyable. Uh, those were my most recent watches with her. I think there's some others, but those were my most recent watches. And they came out last year. And I just like to root for her because partially is because of her bad breakup. It wasn't like the best breakup with The Dream. The Dream is a music producer. He did put out a couple of albums, which I liked. He put out like two albums, and I like both of them. I think it was two. Definitely, yeah, it was two. But they that whole breakup situation wasn't the best, but nevertheless, she's doing really good now. She's remarried. I believe she was dating her husbands since 2017, and they married in 2020, and they now have 2 kids together. And she seems super, super happy, which I'm excited for her. And she's always does really well in these movies. Devale Ellis, which is her leading man, is another one that I'm rooting for because I remember watching him and following him on his Instagram with his beautiful wife and family. Um, Now, I know he was on Sisters, and now he's also on Fatima, but I've never watched them. Uh, but I did see some clips, and he has grown in his acting. I was really excited for him when he got those roles, and then expanded to. Well, I was excited for him when he got the role for Sisters, and then I believe that expanded to. I think it's Fatima. Again, don't know because I don't really watch them, but very excited for him. And again, his acting has improved considerably over the years. So it's really nice to see him improve and continue to get work because he seems like a nice guy. His family seems wonderful, and they seem to have really put in the work over the years. So definitely rooting for him in the future. Now, about Meet Me Next Christmas. So it's basically about 2 star-crossed lovers that happen to meet each other on Christmas Eve and they hit it off. But Layla, who is played by Christina Milian, she's currently in a relationship. And then before leaving, James, played by Kofi Siriboe, and I hope I'm not jacking up that name pronunciation. Um, so they really like have a good conversation and they kind of hit it off. So he proposes, and I'm not giving any spoilers away. I will let y'all know when it gets to the spoiler part. But he proposes that if they are both single next year around this time, that they meet up at the annual Pentatonix concert because she always goes every year and she usually goes with her boyfriend or whatever. But he's just saying, if by chance she happens to be single, well, let's meet up. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it because I'm gonna do. I'll let you know when I'm doing the recap. But suffice to say, Leela ends up being single and goes on a little journey with Teddy, played by Devale, to meet James at the concert the following year. So it was a fun and cutesy little watch. Like it had all the elements of a really good rom-com, right? Christina Milian she actually had really good chemistry with her co-stars, I thought. Um, like the whole cast seemed to have really good chemistry, like together, like they meld well together. Kalen, who he played a cousin, he played the Teddy's cousin, and he was hilarious. There was some times when he was a little over the top, like, ooh, relax. He was a little much, but overall, he was a good addition, and I enjoyed the moment that he was there. I also really liked Pentatonix. In the All of them, the whole team, the whole group was there. Um, they were in Candy Cane Lane. And Candy Cane Lane came out on Apple TV last year. I think it was on Apple TV, and that was starring Tracy Ellis Ross and Eddie Murphy, and that was really cute. I was supposed to do a review on it. I don't know what happened. I didn't. Maybe I still might because I think it's still on there and still available. They were fun, but it was more like a cameo. Whereas in Meet Me Next Christmas, they definitely had a larger role. And it was kind of fun to see them interacting with each other and dusting off their little acting chops. So I thought that was cute. All in all, it was a cute, wholesome movie to kind of brighten your day. So this is like a rom-com rating, right? Like not the same rating as I would give. It's like a different scale, whatever, because I'm going to be reviewing, I think I'm going to try to be reviewing a lot of rom-coms. So I actually give it 8.5 because I found it fun. So now is the spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers and you enjoyed it, but if you got to watch it, stay with me, listen to the spoilers, and let's chit chat. But if not, this is where you exit stage left. But please share, like, subscribe, tell all your friends. It's at LightV or lightv.com, LITEVI.com. And the podcast, A Drop of Happy, is available on all major streaming platforms. So please like, share, all that good stuff. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. So let me do a recap, okay? So what happens? Now, I keep wanting to say Christina, but the girl's name is not Christina. It is Layla. Layla. So Layla is going through the airport and she's talking to her boyfriend and she's like, I'm not going to make it. No, she's trying to make it, but she ends up not making it because all the flights are canceled. The weather's terrible, blah, 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 blah. So she ends up kind of sort of being stranded at the airport, where she meets a cutie patootie, which is James. She meets him at the airport and they start chit-chatting and they hit it off. Oh, but before she meets James at the airport, she's in the lounge and she's like getting something to eat and she bumps into Teddy and he drops a little something. He drops something. And he gives her a little tip on something, add sriracha to something she was eating or whatever. So she bumps into Teddy, and then he goes about his business, and then she goes to the lounge and she's kind of chilling, and her and James strike up a conversation, and it's really good. And I was just like, well, why don't y'all exchange numbers? But she has a boyfriend, and he was just like, well, yo, if next year you happen to be single, let's meet up at this Pentatonix concert. Let's not look up each other or anything like that. Which is dumb. Which is stupid. What? Anyway. So they agree, whatever, but she's just like, I'm not trying to break up with my boyfriend, dude. Like, are you wishing I break up with my boyfriend? I'm not trying to break up with my boyfriend. So whatever, it's a cutesy little meetup and they go about their business. So a year later ish, she's talking to her best friend and was just like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. She's like, oh, well, I'm getting off early. I'm going to go home and, surprise him like with an Italian dinner or whatever. So she goes and he is at her apartment on her couch with another woman. Yes, sir. So, well, that's that. She kicks him out and stuff. And, yeah, so they're not together. So then she's talking to her best friend again, which is Roxy. Her best friend's name is Roxy, played by Tamika Tafari. And they start talking about, they bring up James, they bring up the little pack. So now she's on a mission. And but the tickets are sold out. She didn't get the tickets. The tickets are all sold out. They're also talking about how James, not James, how the boyfriend really kind of sucked. Like he wasn't a good boyfriend, but she just didn't notice it. You know how sometimes we do that. Like we accept things and we don't notice because who knows why. But now the friend was just like, girl, like you had a peanut allergy and he threw your birthday dinner and there was stuff with peanuts in it. Like, so really he was not a good boyfriend. I think he had the status that she wanted or what have you, but he was not a good boyfriend. So anyway, so they're like, well, we need to get these tickets because she didn't get the tickets this time. So Roxy was just like, oh, there's a concierge service that I used to use that's really good. So let's reach out to the concierge service to get these tickets. So now the mission is in place. So they do reach out to the concierge service. When flip over to that, you meet Teddy and you realize he's a really nice guy. He loves to cook, or he's a really good cook, but he's not good at this concierge business. Like he is not good at it. And the boss is just like, look, let me talk to you. We gonna fire you. if you don't do something, if you don't get better, because your reviews suck, like the people don't like you, your probation is about to be off. I'm trying to help you out and keep you, but sir, no. So this is your last chance. This is your last chance. Layla is your last chance. If she gives you a good review, you get her these tickets, you'll be good to go. So meets up, and he kind of wants to do things on his own, and Layla's like, no, we gotta get these tickets. So he puts out some feelers. They go to some place where he thinks like he always gets tickets, but that person's not there. And Layla's like, oh, I was corresponding with somebody and I was going to get tickets. So they meet to go get these tickets, but they got scammed, which was a cute, funny little scene. They got scammed. Little comedy of error, because I think it was like $700 or $800, and she goes to Teddy grabs the guy when he realizes that the tickets that the guy sold were actually from last year, but she already gave him the money and she gave him something else to make up the difference. But then Layla tries to pepper spray him, and she does a little bit, but she also pepper sprays Teddy. Then the guy gets away, and they're like, gosh darn it, they're back to square one with trying to find these tickets. So then he's just like, oh, Teddy's like, oh, I know this couple who has the tickets and they might be willing to, get rid of it. So they go and meet this couple. It's very eccentric, has a lot of money type of couple. And then, so the couple's like, I'll give you the ticket if you can get us this one item. Teddy agrees, not really knowing that the item is like an exclusive sugar plum purse. So now they're on a sugar plum mission item. So they go to the store and they had to stand in line and what have you. But before they leave, the husband's just like, I think, does he say it to Layla? The husband's just like, well, if you don't work out to find this James dude, Teddy's a catch. And she kind of like looks at him funny, whatever. And she's like, okay. So they go to try to get the bag. And when they get in line, there's like this rude lady, very privileged, whatever. And Teddy kind of sets her in her place. And then the sales clerk is kind of feeling Teddy. She was cute. Teddy was like, oh, she's kind of cute too. But why do guys be so oblivious when females are checking them out? Why are they so clueless? Because even I'm like, oh no, she flirting with you, hard player. And then so he went back, and Layla had to be like, yo, she likes you or whatever. Like, go try to get her number, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, for real? Like a big dummy, like a big doofus. For real? She likes me? Yes, dummy. Yes. So he goes and talks to her, and sometimes he's like, oh, she gonna get us the purse. There's only one left, and she's gonna get it to us. So in the midst, while he's doing that, Layla, gosh darn it, Layla's talking to this one family, this one guy, and he's just like, yeah, my wife is really sick. And I just wanted to do this nice thing for her, what have you. So then Layla decides, like the chick comes out with the purse. Teddy comes out with the purse like in a bag because they're trying to be discreet because this is the last one and the people in the store are going to go crazy. And then she's like, no, she's like, I don't want it. Give it to the dad, whatever. And Teddy's just like, what the heck? But anyway, all heck breaks out when they realize that that's the last purse, and somehow they sneak out, but they do get the salesperson to give it to the dad. So while this is happening, Teddy is still trying to get the tickets. So he is messaging somebody who works with Pentatonix, and he's basically giving them the play-by-play of what's happening. And they're like, so then so now Pentatonix is involved in the little drama. And basically how it came about is she was telling them, listen, we don't got no tickets. Her name was Becca. And Becca's like, we don't have any tickets. We don't have any tickets for you. We don't have any tickets for we just don't have any tickets. So they're like, oh dang, but they're invested in Teddy telling the story. And they're like, oh, he's an oversharer. So he's telling them, all that's going on. And in the midst of telling them, he's just like, oh, you know what? She's so sweet. She gave up the tickets for this guy. And then they realize, they're like, oh my God, Teddy must like her. So now they're invested because they want to see how this falls out and what's going to happen with Teddy liking the girl. So during this, they're definitely getting to know each other and all that good stuff. So then Teddy's like telling the cousin too. Teddy's cousin's like, oh, I can get you the tickets. I got tickets. That's what he told them. So they go over to Teddy's house. She gets to meet the mom. She learns a little bit more about Teddy and how he used to. Wait, I'm kind of getting the no. She does learn a little bit more about Teddy and how he cooks really well. Then Kalen, which is Teddy's cousin, is like, okay, we're gonna get the tickets, but we have to compete in a ball, a lip syncing ball. So now they're practicing and stuff like that. And he's, they had to convince him, and she was down. Layla was like, "Oh, I'm down," but they had to convince him to do it. So they did. They went, and during that time, again, they're getting to know each other, and he's realizing, oh, I really. He's kind of realizing that he really likes her and stuff like that, and like he's like watching her sleep, blah blah blah. So it's all coming together. So anyway, and during that time, I think Roxy comes over too, or I don't know if I'm missing this. But anyway, him, her, him, Layla, and Roxy are sitting down having a conversation, and that's when like realizing that he's like a really accomplished chef because he used to work at like a Michelin star restaurant, blah blah blah. But his mom got sick, so he stopped to take care of her. You're just learning that he's a really nice guy at this point, and it's super super sweet or what have you, right? So anyway, they go and do the lip sync ball. They do not win. They get second place, which is really nice. Okay. Oh, um, they get second place, but while they're at the house before the ball, like when they're doing that whole getting to know each other thing, they realize that they met because Teddy, when he first met her, he was just like, "Oh, you look familiar," and she was like, "No, whatever, don't remember you, blah blah blah." So because of the thing that he dropped was like a creme brulee cup thing, um, she kind of it triggered. She kind of remembered him, and they kind of like reminisced on that a little bit. Fast forward, they lose the concert. They lose the tickets because they only got second place. But then Becca's like, "Oh, we have tickets. We have a ticket." And they're like, "Well, give the ticket to him." Pentatonix like, "Give the ticket to him." No. So give the ticket to Layla. And then they're like, "Well, he needs to come too, because that's the only way it's gonna happen." Because basically they wanna they wanna have them get together. So after the concert, um, Roxy goes with Layla to get dressed and get ready to go to the concert. Oh, at the ball. Oh, this is like a big part. At the ball, while they're performing, at the end of their performance, they kiss. And the kiss kind of jars them. The kiss kind of shakes them up a little bit because they're like, oh my gosh. Like then I think she realizes that she really likes him because the kiss was so marvelous and everything in the world fell away, whatever. It was super cute. The performance was super cute. The kiss was super cute. It was adorable. So, and they're trying to talk about the kiss, but then they get the news that they got the tickets. And so she gets whisked away. Roxy whisked her away so she could get ready. And then they take him away so that so it's a little bit of mayhem. Um, they were like, okay, no, she goes, she gets the ticket. They whisk him away so that he can become Santa in the production, so he can profess his love to Layla. Meanwhile, she's just like, oh, I don't know, blah 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 blah, blah I don't know, blah, blah. But she looks stunning, by the way. So now she's on the way to the concert. They're trying to get him ready to play Santa, and she just looks so pretty. Like she looks, the dress was gorgeous. She looked great. So to make it a little more dramatic, the taxi is in like traffic, and James shows up. He shows up with flowers, and he shows up in the front, and he's like looking around. This part was a little hokey. Like they did too much. I get it, but they 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 did too much. But he's like looking around and he doesn't see. So it makes you think like he's looking for her and stuff. Um, but he wasn't. So she gets there and she sees him and she like gives him, she's like, oh my gosh, I know like you're here waiting for me and it's great and yada, 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 but I'm in love with somebody else. I appreciate it. I know we were supposed to meet up. She gives him like this whole speech, doesn't let him to get a chance to say anything. Like he's trying to interject, but she's like, I gotta go find this guy, blah, 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 blah. And he just is like, okay. So then she runs off to try to go find Teddy. And turns out he wasn't waiting for her at all. He has a whole nother person that he is seeing that he was actually waiting for. So it wasn't her. So she thought, it was her, but it wasn't. And let me say, I left this part out. In the beginning, the whole reason why she went on this journey, like she didn't just randomly. She saw a picture of him like on the promo, and it happened to be him getting a ticket. So she thought that was her sign. So she just assumed that, oh yeah, he's getting a ticket to meet me. And fast forward, he was not. He got the ticket because he got a boo, and he was meeting the boo, and that's who he was waiting for, being all dramatic, looking around, waiting for. So anyway, she goes to the backstage to try to get backstage, and the dude's like, no, you ain't getting in here. Whatever. Building up some tension, making it dramatic, because at this point, Teddy, who is afraid of heights, but went up, conquered his heights for her so he can go through like a fake chimney chute to play Santa. And then so he gets there and he's like pouring his heart out in front of all these people. And Pentatonix like, yeah, when's she gonna show up? When is she gonna show up? She's in the back. She's like, listen, that's me, because she hears it over the intercom. And the dude's like, I don't know what to tell you. So then she goes back around to try to get in. She gets a little difficult. They're building up the suspense because they're like, oh my God, she's going to miss all that he's saying. So then he's just like, well, if you're here, come on out. And the audience is looking. Everybody's looking. She's not there. It takes her a few minutes to get there. So then she finally does get there. Like he's about to be dejected and feel like, oh my gosh. So he finally does get there. And she's like, yes, I love you too, or something, something to that effect. And they kiss and they get together. And it's super cute. I'm probably leaving some parts out, but that's the gist of it. But again, they had really good chemistry. They were really cute. It was a fun little watch. Definitely, if you want to, you should watch it if you like that stuff. It is one of the better ones. Again, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. So very enjoyable. Again, please spread the word, like, subscribe. We're all streaming platforms. It's on all streaming platforms. Visit the blog, lightv.com. And remember to always live light and stress well.